I'm starting off this project with this witch hat that I got from Dollar Tree. So I just began by taking off the garland all throughout the witch's hats. And this is actually very easy to come undone. And once you have the garland taken off, you should be just left with the plastic frame. So now I'll just be trimming down the bottom edges of the hat. This is very easy to cut off. You could just use a pair of scissors, but I'm actually just using some wire cutters. And then along the sides of the hat, they had these little buttons, if you want to call it that. So I just snipped those right off just to have a smoother surface. So now I'll be using this mop head that I got from Dollar Tree, and it's really easy just to take the strings right out rather than trying to pull apart the mop head to get those strings to come out. So now I'll be starting with the bottom wire of the hat, and I'm just looping the strings of the mop head right onto the bottom until that is completely filled in. And guys, please be careful when doing this process. I actually did end up breaking the frame because it is just a really fragile plastic. So if that happens, just hot glue the frame back together. As you can tell, I also put some jute string around it as well, and that seemed to hold it back into place. And now I'm just filling up the second to the bottom wire of this hat. And again, just fill that up until it's complete. And then just lastly, I'm just filling up that third section with the strings of the mop head until that is completely filled in. And once that was completely filled in, I didn't want the mop head strings to look like a mop head. So I actually just peeled apart the strings of the mop head. So that way it gave more of like a braided look. And I also think this made the beard look a little bit thicker as well. And this part is completely optional. If you want to leave the mop head strings alone, you can do that as well. But I think this came out so awesome looking. So now using this plaid fabric, I just cut it down to size to make sure that it will completely cover the front of the hat. Once I had that fit to size, I just began hot gluing it right onto the back of the hat. I just hot glued the sides right at the bottom, just held it down until it was completely adhered. And then towards the middle and the top of the hat, again, I just applied a generous amount of that hot glue and just held that down until it was completely adhered. So now using this brown faux fur that I got from Hobby Lobby, I'm going to be using this fur as the brim of the hat. So I just measured it down to size, and then one trick to use while cutting faux fur is to actually cut it with a box cutter rather than cutting it with a pair of scissors. So once that is all completely cut, I just hot glued it to the bottom of the hat and held it down until that glue dried. So now for the gnome's nose, I'm just using this white ornament that came in a package from Dollar Tree. I'm just painting it with this acrylic paint in the color Latte. And once that is completely dry, I'm just putting a generous amount of hot glue and just placing it right at the bottom of that hat. Look at how cute he's coming out. And then I also just applied some hot glue between the hat and the beard of the gnome. And then just to dress up his hat just a little bit, I added some of this green garland that came from Dollar Tree. So I just placed a small amount of hot glue at the bottom of these and just place them right into the hat. Then I also added some of these berries and this little pine cone. And then for the tip of the hat, I thought it would be so cute to have this rustic bell hanging from it. So I'm just tying some jute string right around the bell, and then I just looped it right at the tip of the hat and just double knotted it. And then I just tied some more jute string at the tip of the hat, just putting some hot glue down every now and then until that is completely covered. And there you go, guys. I think this gnome came out so stinking adorable. I hope this inspired you to create your own. If it did, please be sure to sprinkle the love. Thank you guys so much and have a good rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.